Hello lads, ladies and anything in between, we are here today to look at Shhh, a horror game where you walk around, get jump scared, and cannot scream. It's a pretty simple concept, but we will get into that further into the video. I'm at the moment trying new things, so today is a review and rating of this game and determining whether it is good or bad. So thank you for your patience due to the lack of uploads recently, I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and let's get straight into the video. Shhh is a walking simulator where you explore different places where there have been unfortunate events leading to some sort of supernatural presence. For this, we are only focusing on the first part of Shhh, Amy's house, where we walk around the household owned by the parents of Amy, a sister of 3 who had murdered her little sisters and had kicked the chair from beneath her feet, if you know what I mean. This does mean that there are some sensitive topics in this game and video, so do be warned. I mistakenly didn't add that to my original video, but better to be safe here than sorry later. So that was just a quick overview, so now that we're done with the overview, now we can talk about the visuals. The visuals are impactful with the found footage VHS type feel to the camera and the dark and eerie areas around the household. These combined create a suspenseful atmosphere for the player as you don't know what could be lurking in the dark, and even the light isn't safe from Amy's wrath as shown many times throughout the game. I will say, however, that the house and some of the models used are very similar, if not the exact same as other games, which dulls the atmosphere a little knowing after playing some of the other games that this is the same house, but as a first time experience it makes for a great place to create some scares. There are some things that could be improved, such as the forest area after the bathroom jump scare, which I'll show here. And the small box room of doors and blood section, which I'll also show here. These are a little weaker in terms of visuals, but at the same time, I'm just nitpicking, so let's move on. The sound design in this game is good overall, with some parts that are lacking that punch that some other sections have. The jump scares mainly consist of loud noises, fuck! Which is good, but sometimes the screams or sound effects are more grating than scary, and the scare comes more from the sense of danger since there's a ghost crawling from under the bed, and now every time I go to sleep, I am now thinking that there is a ghost that's going to grab my toes and drag me to the shadow realm. However, there are some great sound effects added, such as subtle creaks, footsteps, and wind outside, with almost pure silence from inside the house itself, which overall creates an eerie and tense environment resembling a lot of the found footage type scenarios that we see in some analog horrors. The gameplay itself is simplistic and effective in what it's trying to achieve, but it's also very linear and has set triggers for each event in the game. The gameplay, as explained, consists of walking, triggering an event, and getting jump scared by a loud noise or some other means of jump scare. It achieves its purpose in scaring the player, but at the same time, the game is slow paced and there is no real risk of death in the game besides you screaming or making a loud noise, which can literally just be solved by altering the mic sensitivity or just muting it altogether, which sort of defeats the purpose of the game. So try not to do that. But it's not my favourite playstyle. But I did enjoy the game for other reasons, and the simplicity isn't unwelcome in this case, it is just a little bit too simplistic and could be improved upon. Now in terms of story, we enter into Sarah's house, where she lived with her parents and 2 sisters. Throughout the game, we find bits and pieces of her story that gives us the full picture of what really happened in this house on that fated night. The story in chronological order begins with Sarah performing a satanic ritual in the master bedroom, summoning some form of demon and becoming possessed by this demon. Sarah tries to resist the demon, but it's taken over and is now thirsty for blood. Sarah's parents are out of the house, and all that she has are her two sisters, with one being an infant and the other presumably being a teenager due to the voices in the master bedroom that we hear. Sarah proceeds to use either a stabbing or bludgeoning weapon to dispatch of her sisters, and then commits Sudoku by hanging around, if you know what I mean. Ending their story only for her parents to return, finding the horrific scene and leaving the house abandoned. This story is dark and morbid, being chopped up into sections throughout the game and jumbled, making it a great practice attempt for anybody wanting to train their theory crafting or story piecing skills. The story is very linear, however, meaning there isn't much of a lore unless it's just the main story itself with Sarah, with no clues on why Sarah summoned a demon randomly out of nowhere, or why her parents were gone and left a bunch of children alone in a dark house in the middle of some random woods. We have reached the main verdict. Overall, I enjoyed this game, and I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. It wasn't the best game ever by all means. My current top horror game would be Resident Evil 7 due to my love for that game when I first played it, with it also being my first horror game that I'd ever played and streamed. It has a few charming moments, as well as a good story, decent visuals and sound design, only to be brought down by the gameplay being a little boring and not really having anything in the way of replayability unless you fail and need to backtrack, in which none of the scares are really fresh anymore until you've reached where you were last. But does this make it a good or bad game? Obviously, with this part being opinion-based and objective, you'll just have to trust my word on this, but it was a decent game. Not incredibly good to the point where I want to play the same level again, but good enough to where I wouldn't mind if I had to, and would definitely want to try out the second part. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and helpful for the people who want to try this game but couldn't decide whether to go for it. I'm going to continue making videos like this, with some more coming soon, hopefully. But I really did enjoy the scripting and editing of this video, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed this as much as I did and want to see more. Also, make sure to join the Discord to suggest me more horror games, or just comment down below the horror games that you want to suggest. Follow me on Twitch, where I live stream all the games that I play and soon to be analog horror reactions that I do. Follow me on TikTok for clips, and I will see you lot in the next one. In a bit, people.